Hey, morning, everybody. Joe Christopher here, and I just want to wish you guys a good morning. I've got my shirt off this morning. I decided to keep it a little light. It's actually hot out, so I went and got my meditation. Actually, let me go grab it. I'll show you what it is. It's called the Muse. It's pretty cool. So I mentioned yesterday that I actually meditate, and one of the things that I use is a, a device called Muse. And all you do is you hook it up to your head, and there's a little band here. You can see it right there. It's basically like an EEG, which reads your brain waves. And then what's cool about it is you just sit it on here. It takes a little bit of getting used to of aligning it, but it's pretty simple once you do it a few times. There's instructions on the app. There's an app that's on your phone, and what you can do is as you listen, and meditate. There's guided meditation, and a lot of people ask me what do I recommend when you first get started, just to have an idea of kind of the concept of meditation. I know there's a lot of people that I can't meditate, I can't sit there for that long, I can't blah 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 blah, and whatever you believe in your mind is what is truth, because you can make up kind of whatever you want your reality to be. A good example of that is if you ever listen or talk to any police officers or and when there's an incident or an accident, and they do eyewitness accounts, they will interview multiple people, and not a single person will be able to recite um, what happened, quote unquote, because everybody's perspective and reality, if you think about it, uh, is different. And I talked a little bit about that, and that's kind of, we create the perception of what we see the world. And the other interesting piece, one of the studies did was within the eyewitness accounts, they found that when people overestimated the accuracy of how they reported information. Again, why is that? If you think about it, number one, what you see, right? Just visual perspective. That's one way. The other one is all your preconceived notions of what actually happened. It's funny. I was actually with my daughter this weekend. The same thing actually happened. We were walking down a busy street in Arlington. That's actually Kingstown. King Street in Old Town Alexandria. And we were walking, and there was this guy on the ground on the side of the road on his hands and knees on the sidewalk, and he. I saw what he was doing. He was actually there was a he was there was like a brown kind of stain on the ground. My daughter just casually, she's pretty observant, and uh, I knew he was threw up. And then I walked past him, and I don't do well with the sound of vomit. I don't know. It's just one of those things I have. And when I walked by him, he started throwing up, and I said, "Oh man, just did you see the guy?" My daughter goes, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "I thought he was picking up his ice cream." I said, "No, he's throwing up." And as soon as, as soon as I said that, it took her about 4 or 5 seconds. And we had this conversation afterwards, and she said, "Oh, I smelt it." I'm like, "Oh yeah." I said, "I can't do smell." And then we talked about an incident with my son camping. I'm surprised. Actually, my son's actually out in outward bound right now. Uh, but going back to kind of day two, I didn't uh, know what I was going to talk about right now, and the fear of knowing what to say. Right now, it's interesting because I'm just speaking literally stream of consciousness as I'm talking to you guys. And right now, I've refocused. And when I was talking before, I was trying to recite an event in the past. So the fear of speaking, that's why I stutter often. And that's one of the things as I discover this stuff in the moment right now. Feel very calm, very confident, very okay. Not even confidence, it's just whatever's going to come out is going to come out, being in the moment. And that's what I'm practicing. And it's interesting. I was doing a little bit about that yesterday um, at work, and it's interesting when you're engaged in intellectual thought. And I'm trying to get to a place. See, now trying is in the future, so I'm worried about not in the present. So that just brought me out of presence. And it's just an interesting exercise of bouncing back and forth between presence and unpresence. And I'm actually realizing, I have no idea how this went 5 minutes already. So, yes, this is kind of a stream of consciousness, but the difference is I'm not wrapped around the axle about what comes out of my mouth as an I, as a thinker. I'm just letting whatever I speak flow through me, through the universe, with a basic theme of, again, fear-based thought and emotions and feelings. And again, worried about what I'm saying. It's a little bit easier now because I'm not intellectually trying to recall information. But even when you do the recall, what I was doing before, I wasn't necessarily worried exactly about what I was going to say. I actually slowed down a little bit. And that's actually an interesting point. I feel right now as I'm speaking to you guys, I'm speaking very slowly. But I bet you when I watch the replay, it's not as slow as I think. And being from New Jersey, I think sometimes I realize I am speaking way too fast. So the fear of worrying about what you're going to speak to and about. I've done photo reading before, and one of the concepts in photo reading is your subconscious actually captures all the information. When you're photo reading, you're looking at mass amounts of information, and your eyes pick up information a lot quicker than touch or sound. And there's a capacity in your brain. Maybe I will talk about that at a later date. That's actually a good topic. But your eyes capture a lot of information, and what you do, it's kind of a neat exercise. I'll say that for a later date. But the exercise is actually, I'll do it now. Why not? So you take your fingers and you focus past it. And right now, if you focus past your fingers, there's going to be a point where both fingers turn into a third finger, and it's called the cocktail effect. So I'm kind of struggling a little bit because I can't see the camera's in the way. So there we go. So what you do when you read a book, photo read it, speed reading also. So you're looking at the middle of the book, the binder. And then what will happen is your eyes will blur and your eyes actually will cross. And then when you cross, right, you see the whole page at once, and then you're flipping it in maybe a second each page. So your subconscious actually saw the information, but your conscious brain hasn't. So what you do is then you finish the book. You can read upside down, backwards, whichever way, it doesn't matter. You read that a few times, and then you have a bulk of the information. And then in order for your conscious brain to pick up the information, you just go back and you hit the highlights. I didn't actually finish talking about the muse that's on my head, and I'll end with this. So what the muse does for the meditation is to be able to visually give you feedback as you're meditating. So there's three basic states. There's an excited state, a neutral state, and a calm state. And based on your brain waves, it'll give you feedback. So the louder it gets, the more excited you are. And then the lower the volume gets, the more calm you are. And then there's a point where if you have calm for more than 3 seconds, there's birds that are chirp. And then when the bird chirps, you auditorily know that you're a place of calm. So if you guys, anybody's interested, I'll put the link on below. It's a great device, especially if you're getting started. It kind of gives you some feedback. So I hope this is helpful for somebody, and look forward to hearing your comments. Please subscribe. I'm trying to open up my account to be able to do live streaming on my phone. So I'd appreciate the help, and look forward to seeing you guys later. Bye bye.